My name is Jerm. This is Jerm Warfare, the battle of ideas.
Hakeem Anwar, thank you for joining me in the trenches.
Good to be back, Jerm. How's it going, my man?
Good. Listen, are you standing?
Today I'm standing. My back has been communicating to me that I should get rid of my chair, so I raised the desk up today. One of my first standing podcasts. So it's a lot better because instead of a static position, you can always move and shake. And they even have these pads you can put in below your feet and you can kind of like squish down on one side or the other. But as from what I understand, the body is meant to move. So if you keep it in one place for such a long time, the muscles on the front of your legs, the tendons are going to get really tight. And this leads to a whole host of things like back issues. So yeah, I'm doing something new today.
Now, AI, Hakeem, is here to stay. There's no point in fighting it, right? It is going to be part of our lives no matter what. It's kind of like saying, well, I don't like the internet.
Yeah, there's the genie is out of the bottle, and it's like, I mean, the companies that are really leading this effort, and the Anthropic, the OpenAI, they've been given free reign. There's a massive coordinated push to get this in everyone's hands, on everyone's devices. I mean, I don't know if people noticed this, but now AI appeared one day magically on your phone and laptop, and it's not going back. You have to consciously make a choice to kick it out. And when I saw this happening last year, I wanted to learn more. And so that's what I've been doing for the last year, is researching everything I can about AI data centers. And what I found is it's the perfect excuse to centralize our resources, our land, our water, and our power. And it's something we should be thinking about, because these AI products, a lot of them you use online, they are free to use, but you don't know what you're paying with. And that's the scary part. What are you paying with?
It kind of is becoming a war, building as many data centers as possible.
Yeah, there it is a war. That's how it's played up. There was an interview between Tucker Carlson and Kevin O'Leary where they're talking about the data centers, and Tucker brings up a good point and he's like, hey, so why do we have to build so many of these things? And Kevin O'Leary, who's building a massive data center in Utah in the United States, says, well, hey, if we don't build them, then China's going to build them, right? And so it's pressing this narrative that there's a Cold War happening, and it's something akin to a nuclear weapon. And that's how the United States military and government think of it. AI is like a nuclear weapon, and so they have to secure the means, the distribution, and that is through AI data centers.
So where I live, Cape Town, currently has 3 data centers.
This is not all data centers. I want to preface that. We were using data centers.
Yeah, this is
for a
AI.
long time.
Yeah, we're referring to AI.
AI data centers, right? And so the terminology people say is hyperscalers. So a hyperscaler, the data center at that level is using the same amount of power as 100,000 U.S. homes.
Why though? Hold on. Just slow down. All right. I'm a layman. Why?
Why? Yeah, no, it's the magic of AI, right? It's free, but it's not, because there's an incredible amount of computation. So these AI chips, you could call them like the pinnacle of technology today. This is, if you look at how these AI chips are developed, they've got one chip with 200 billion transistors on it. Now, all these transistors allows for extremely quick computation. We're talking about 1,000 trillion operations per second. So this is the speed at which this AI can consume information and look for patterns. And so imagine one of these chips that can do this, and it's doing 1,000 trillion operations per second at full load. And so then ultimately it gets really hot. It uses a lot of power, and it gets so hot, it's close to the temperature of the surface of the sun. So now it's extremely hot. It can't stay at that temperature. It needs to be cooled down. And that's where the water comes in. And all of these AI data centers need a constant flow of water to cool the chips down, and they release that heat off into the atmosphere. These are some of the largest infrastructure projects in the world's history. Like an average AI data center facility is $10 billion. To give you some more idea of scale, in 2025, companies pledged $2.5 trillion towards AI data centers. $2.5 trillion. So that's more than an international high-speed rail network we could have built. We could have built bullet trains all over the United States, but no, we built AI data centers. And the reason is, one, it is a bubble. And in my report on AI-datacentermap.org, I have a few different theories as to why they're being built. The first one is investors are actually really dumb. And because there's this desperation to jump on the next economic trend, they'll throw all the money. Everyone's making a data center. And this is something that is not unique to the US. China went through their own AI data center boom in 2022 and 2023. And now 80% of their data centers, according to MIT, are sitting empty. So they can't even find customers to operate that. Now, the US is actually building double the amount of power for AI data centers here, and we're only halfway through. This is data from the map I built, AI-datacentermap.org, but I'm looking at all the planned data centers till 2030. And then if the US builds every single one that it has planned, then data centers are going to use 40% of the US's total power capacity. Yeah, so it's like at minimum, like our power generation is not going to quadruple in that time. There's absolutely no way. So once you get pressure to build these things, it's the people who pay the water bills and the power bills. They're going to feel the weight.
And you hinted at this now about data centers in China being empty. Are you suggesting that perhaps it's not going to get to that point? There is going to be a plateau.
There's a bubble. Yeah, this is, if you look at in terms of the economic investment and you look at historical events like the dot-com boom, this this wave of investment far, far precedes it. I mean, it's just absolutely staggering. Again, these are some of the most expensive infrastructure projects in history. So what comes up must come down. And this is also why there's a pressure to try and get everyone to use AI. That's why it appeared in all of our products overnight. That's also why many companies like that are related to surveillance are also spinning up. Flock cameras in the United States is a big example of this. These AI data centers, consumers may not ever use them, but they can be repurposed for military purposes. And there's already orders being passed within the military that allow them to have private contract with cloud AI providers. So, I guess no one's using this AI. Well, now it can be used for military purposes. It can be used for government and surveillance purposes. So what I find is that this is not going to help out average everyday people. It's presented as that, but they have overbuilt so much. We could not dream of using this much AI compute. So something has to use it or they're going to go out of business.
This is technocracy.
It feels like it's the ticket to technocracy. And then when you look at how many advantages these AI data centers were given, in early 2025, Trump doubled down on bonus depreciation. So, Jerm, bonus depreciation is if you build a data center within 1 year, you can write off the entire cost of the data center from your taxes, from your taxable income. So in the US, we saw these from 2022 to 2025, we saw 400 AI data centers being built. This is why, because they actually will get to write off the entire amount of the data center. if they build it within this 1 year. So there's these economic factors at play that are driving them, and that's at the federal level. There's also these massive tax benefits at the state level, like sales and use tax that these data centers don't have to pay. Now, we're talking, all right, you don't have to pay the 8.25 or whatever percent it is in your state. That doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're building a $20 or $50 billion facility, they're saving billions of dollars. And so they're saving at federal, state, and even local levels. So who's carrying the costs on the shoulders? Well, it's consumers. If these AI data centers do go out of business, or even the additional investment that's required to build this power infrastructure now, it's the taxpayers and ratepayers that are going to end up paying it, because the AI data centers all have tax breaks. So people are going to begin to see the rise in inflation of their electric and water bills if they're around these things.
Listen to this. Global data centers consumed approximately 415 terawatt hours of electricity in 2024, which is about 1.5% of the world's electricity.
And that's low. You know, we're just at the beginning. If you look at the projections of different groups and what they're aiming to build, there's this really good section in our report where it talks about the tech CEOs and what they want to build. And many of them say, hey, we want to build so much AI compute, we're going to have more than everyone else combined. So everyone can't be saying this at the same time, right? It's this massive bubble. And it's not that valuable. Like my personal stance is that we can get rid of about 90% of the AI data centers, and it would make no difference at all to the average human person. It would make no difference at all. This is not helping us yet. The people who want to use AI, and many people do for image generation or for coding or for things, they can do that. And that's all within this window of consumer AI, which we do not need that amount of power. China's a really good example of this. They already have self-driving cars, as you can attest to, and robotics, and they're not using their data centers. So how on earth is a society that is just starting to use AI going to use the same amount of power?
I'm confused, Hakeem. So what is going on? Are they building in anticipation, or are they building with an agenda?
It seems to me it serves multiple purposes. I mean, we know that feeling of you will own nothing and you will be happy.
Well, that's not a feeling, by the way. That's not a feeling. The World Economic Forum actually said that.
Yes, we know that. We know that they've said that, and we know that this is like the underlying tone of a lot what we're seeing at the global level, the policies, the agenda. And I can't help but think how these AI data centers seem to centralize more of our resources now. So earlier this year, the UN announced a global water bankruptcy. So that basically means water levels are getting to the point where they can't come back. And so what was their idea? Did they say, hey, all right, let's find a way to restore water and use it? No, that's not what they said. They said, all right, we need more visibility and say, and the ability to adjudicate people's water rights. So this is something important for maybe listeners to understand. Do you know who owns the water where you live? Do you own it? Who owns it, right? That's something important to know. So in some places in the US now, they're actually saying, hey, you've drilled a well, but now we're going to adjudicate your water, meaning that you need to let us know how much water you're using. We don't even know. You need to tell us how much you're using, so then we can regulate it for you. And we're starting to see this everywhere. So yes, these AI data centers, they can use up all the resources, and then we can impose more rules on everyday people.
You mentioned hyperscalers earlier. That's obviously alluding to the big players in AI usage. Who are they? I'm guessing Amazon, Facebook, Microsoft, Google.
Yeah, it is the big ones. There's Project Stargate, which is Oracle, SoftBank, OpenAI.
Oh, that's part of Palantir.
Amazon, Google. Sorry?
That's connected to Palantir. Stargate.
Not in public. I don't know if it's connected to Palantir, but you could throw Palantir in there. I'm sure Palantir has many contracts with these cloud providers to run their products. And so if you check out the map, it actually has a list of data centers in the United States. It's a whole map that you can go into, aidatacentermap.org, and you can see the hyperscalers. There's these black triangles. All right. So aidatacentermap.org. So we built this just a few months ago. This phase 2, it just came out, and we're cataloging all of the data centers in the United States. And I want to work on more countries, y'all, but the United States is where I live, and that's my first obligation. And we're also way ahead of everyone else. It's not even close. So if we go in, we can click on any data center here. And this is the only map in the world that is estimating, it's making a rough estimate on how much power and water these data centers will use. So you see, here's Project Spring in Oklahoma, and it's planned for 2029, 500 megawatts of power. And it's going to use the same amount of power as about 200,000 homes and about 600,000 gallons a day. Now, how am I able to throw these numbers at you? Well, hey, I do have a methodology, and this is all outlined in the report. No one has done this. Academics have kind of published numbers that give you an overview, but none really give you a way to look at a data center's power capacity and make a judgment on this. So I figured if none of the scientists were going to do it, I'll just take my crack at it. And I did read these papers. This is the best paper. This is the Lawrence Berkeley National Labs Data Center Energy Usage Report, and it's linked directly from the page. Everything is cited in the report. And I appreciated their analysis more than anyone. The reason why we had to do this is because AI data centers are not sharing how much power and water they're using. You're kind of having to guess. When I looked at their sustainability reports, I found that in cases, they weren't even measuring their water use. They didn't even have a water meter, and they were estimating. So if they get to estimate, then why don't we get to estimate? So this map is a starting point to get the conversation started. I'm not saying it's extremely accurate. There's a lot of variables you have to account for, but I think it's a very reasonable estimate. So if you click on an empty spot on the map, it'll tell you out of all of the data centers nearby, this is how much water they're displacing. 3,300,000 gallons a day, displacing 1 million homes of power. So I want this map to be used for people to make better decisions about where they're currently living, maybe where they're moving to, and also to organize at a local level so they can stop these things, because we're only halfway through. Most of the data centers will be built from now until 2030. So we're just getting started with this.
Listen to this. US data centers consumed 182.6 terawatt hours in 2024, which is the equivalent to the annual electricity use of roughly 16.9 million American homes, which is on par with what you were saying. Each year, the 117 lowest consumption countries each consume less electricity than ChatGPT alone.
Yeah, man, the scale is absolutely crazy. It's like one of these data centers. Let me say another thing that will help put it in perspective. Before there was AI, Google and Microsoft, two companies with billions of users. We're not talking that long ago, by the way. We're talking like 2023 this year. So a few years ago, both of these companies, all of their data centers across the planet, they used 4 gigawatts of power. 4 gigawatts. So so that's their entire global fleet of data centers. Nowadays, a single data center they have planned to have 9 gigawatts of power. So doubling what Google or Microsoft had throughout the whole planet, right? And of course, 9 gigawatts of power is more than a lot of third world countries will use. So I don't really have a better reason. It's like there's no way you could make a product that people will use. There's no way that this is profitable. I really can't see the logic behind it unless it is for more of a military or overarching surveillance infrastructure.
If water becomes a threat, guess what's going to happen? We're going to get lockdowns.
Water lockdowns. Yes. And so we talked about how AI data centers, they're not measuring their own water. In fact, they've been caught in different places. When in Fayette County, Georgia, there's a giant data center campus there that was sucking up 30 million gallons of water. And it's supposed to be on a closed loop system. That's what a lot of these data centers are saying now. Hey, don't worry about it. We're on a closed loop system. Bullshit. Prove it. Prove it by installing a water meter. They won't do that. There's no regulation or accountability or transparency with that. And so in this place, Georgia, people only noticed when they would use their sink and water wouldn't come out. And so then they found 2 massive industrial water hookups for this data center that they didn't even know about. And guess what? This data center, they were just charged for the water that they were used. They weren't even fined, even after abusing their water supply. So what I found is I've looked at different things in the US, like golf courses, which are also massive, massive wastes of water. I don't know if you play golf.
No, I can't do it.
Yeah, it's not my game. And if it wasn't my game before, it definitely wasn't after I realized each golf course in the Southwest uses 150 million gallons of water a year. So to me, it's like a bizarre world is we're having trouble growing food. Water is already a scarce resource. There's a lot of thirsty people. It's hotter than it ever has been before. And then people are playing golf on a green lawn. So what I found was that with golf courses, local water organizations, they couldn't even find these country clubs and golf courses. If they can't stop a country club, how are they going to stop a $1 billion AI data center that has many perks and many connections? Like it's not making sense. So this is rules for thee and not for me.
Listen to this. Ireland's 121 data centers consume about 21% of all electricity in Ireland as of 2024.
Yes, Ireland is a really big hub in Europe. Dublin, they're mostly concentrated in Dublin, and yeah, I just know that Europe also has the same trend. It's very interesting too, the reasoning and the agenda. The agenda in Europe is like we have to build these data centers to become independent from American tech infrastructure and the big tech companies, which is fine. That's all good and well, but they're not even close to the amount of AI data centers. So I am concerned about it, but it's going to take them a while. And I think people need to be really hyper aware. I do think this is coming everywhere. And the changes we're going to start to see if these data centers continue to proliferate is our lakes and rivers and wetlands will shrink and decrease. Because it's the water from the aquifer that is actually recharging it, right? As is above on the surface is below. So there's always a constant communication from the lakes and rivers to the aquifers. So if you see things falling on the surface, that also means your aquifers are failing. There's also environmental loss because the area around our lakes and rivers is called the riparian zone, which is ecologically very special and unique because it has water-loving plants that build soil. There's microbes and worms, and it creates new soil. It also cleans toxins, and it holds our planet's ecosystem together. So I was a dude who took really long showers and had no idea how our water systems worked before I started researching this report. And I thought that was a really important, like, realization for me. Like, whoa, there's this intelligent, beautiful, creative system that is meant to support all life on the planet. And these companies especially are extremely ignorant. They're just like, the problem is once you suck up all the water, it does not come back. It does not come back. You can hit something that's called the day zero, which is when you've pulled enough water, you can't get any water to the surface. And that's what I want to avoid. I don't want people to run into that scenario because it's likely for some regions of the world.
When we talk about a lot of the stuff, we're talking about the cloud or cloud computing. We're not talking about local computing.
Yeah. So yeah, these AI data centers are all based in the cloud, right? There's nothing local about them. So if you share with them your innermost thoughts and your desires and your work, yeah, that's saved on the cloud somewhere. And it's disturbing. Yeah.
Okay, so now with that in mind, and we know that much of the cloud infrastructure that we use, email and whatever, banking, photos, etc., even including the government's data, was built, like Facebook, for example, from the ground up, in partnership with intelligence agencies.
Yeah, I think we can, the relationship of these companies and intelligence agencies is a tricky one, right? It's very hard to pin down and say, hey, Facebook was built by intelligence agencies to track everyone, but there are coincidences like Project LifeLog from the Total Information Awareness Office, which was doing exactly this, how to track all the important events in one's life. And in the early 2000s, the New York Times reported on this, and there was a lot of backlash. And so they closed down that program literally on the same day or the next day Facebook was founded. So it's hard to, there's these little strings that make things very suspicious. And I think our friend Whitney Webb from the Unlimited Hangout, she does the best job reporting on the connections. But yeah, Jerm, that these connections are on my mind. And if you look at the Snowden reports, sometimes people inside the company, like you were mentioning, some streaming service, many times they don't even know, right? These are secret operations. NSA only needs to cooperate with a select group of people at this very large company that consists of thousands of people to get their backdoor access. And honestly, that's all they really need. And now we're to the point where I would say the most dangerous thing about AI is its ability for data fusion, where you can take unstructured patterns of data, whether it's from your doorbell camera or from the audio your phone is listening to, and they can be stitched together into a profile about the individual. That's where I think we're at now. We're starting to see the original goals of total information awareness getting close to being accomplished, thanks to companies like Palantir and thanks to the big tech companies having their arms in every single aspect of our lives.
Well, Whitney has done huge amounts of work on Palantir, as we know, founded by what's his name, Peter Thiel, or Peter Thiel. How do you say it? Peter Thiel or Peter Thiel?
Peter Thiel. Yeah.
Peter Thiel, and his first customer was the CIA.
Yes, yeah, Palantir, co-founded by Alex Karp. I want to say, I don't remember if Thiel was an investor or a founder, but he's very closely related. And their first client, yes, was the CIA.
And effectively privatizing mass surveillance.
Privatizing mass surveillance and privatizing warfare and privatizing our policing, because many police departments now use software like Palantir's Gotham to stitch together the red light traffic cameras, the arrest reports, the data coming from flock cameras or cameras like it into one system. So they wanted to say, hey, what's Jerm been up to today? They can pull up your information. They can get all the related vehicles. They could get the members in your family, and so on and so on and so on. It's essentially a way to create a digital representation that's equivalent to the real world. So yes, that's what AI enables to happen.
Yeah, well, listen to this. I mean, Google, for example, has deep roots in CIA funding. In-Q-Tel, which is the CIA's venture capital arm, was a major shareholder in Google as late as 2005. Following Google's acquisition of Keyhole Inc., which was or is a CIA-backed surveillance firm whose software became Google Earth. So by 2007, Google was selling government-enhanced versions of Google Earth used for targeting in Iraq and secret search engines used by spy agencies for surveillance. What could possibly go wrong, Hakeem?
Yeah, there's a funny story about that and the CIA. And this is in a book called Surveillance Valley by Yasha Levine. But the CIA built their own custom Google search, and they wanted to have the Google logo with the CIA badge in it. So they had to ask Google for permission. They're like, Google, can we please use your logo? Right? There's definitely like a relationship of colleagues and associates between these companies, and that's kind of why it makes sense when you have these agendas like age verification, for example. Who are the first companies to volunteer? Well, it's Google and Apple and Meta and all these companies that want to protect our kids, while Jeffrey Epstein uses Gmail and was allowed to operate completely unimpeded for decades, but now they want to protect the kids. And it just goes to show this is not free market capitalism. These companies are propped up and they have far too much power. So I think this is the era now for thousands of companies to rise up against them, and our company above, which we have private solutions that are devoid of this big tech militarized surveillance software. This is the year where it really starts to become popular. And I think that if people haven't started preparing already, they should get ready now, because the age verification is a real thing. You're going to start to see gates on the internet. You're already starting to see it on social media, and you need to be prepared on how to use sovereign technology. So it's an investment of your time.
The CEO of BlackRock is the interim co-chairman of the World Economic Forum. And in September 2024, alongside Microsoft and MGX, an Abu Dhabi sovereign wealth vehicle, launched the Global AI Infrastructure Investment Partnership to invest in data centers and power infrastructure. And in October 2025, a BlackRock-led consortium closed a $40 billion deal to acquire 78 AI data centers totaling 5 gigawatts. And in May 2026, Larry Fink publicly stated that, listen to this, the trillions needed for AI data centers will inevitably come from savings accounts and pension accounts. He said this at a Texas event framed as patriotic necessity so that China does not overtake the US. So what he's saying is that for AI data centers, they're going to take people's pension money.
Mm-hmm. Take people's 401ks and all the money that they have invested. I mean, you should, if you're watching this show, I would hope you know by now, like that's what you're investing in. You're literally investing in your own slavery. I hope you make a few dollars along the way.
And BlackRock's AI system's called Aladdin. Did you know that?
Yes.
And it's used by the US Treasury and the Federal Reserve.
Aladdin, right? So, what is it? Your money just flies off on a magic carpet. Where'd the gold go? There's absolutely no way we could ever get close to using this amount of power. So someone else is going to use it, and it'll be the big tech companies, perhaps the government, military purposes, working hand in hand to try and use this. And it's important to note, it's not over yet. They've just started building these things. I think the biggest AI data center currently is either OpenAI or Elon Musk's data center, and it's not even at 1 gigawatt yet. So it's not to the amount of power where they're using a million homes worth of power. We're still at the beginning, but you've got to know, like, this is where they want to go. They would like to use up all the water and power it's not going to be for your benefit. It is going to be to surveil you, and you are the one that's going to have to pay the elevated power bills, which people are already complaining in the US of their power bill tripling. You're going to have to pay increased water bills. In many parts of the world now, this is related to the UN water bankruptcy. You can get a $50,000 fine if you water your house on the wrong day. Like this is coming. This is coming. And like we were saying earlier, the genie's out of the bottle a little bit, and these mad people are going to push this forward. So take this time to invest in where you're going to live. I hope that is a place safe from the rollout of data centers, and invest in your technology so that you don't have AI peering into your life, so you don't become part of this grid.
When we talk about a data center, though, just realistically, what are we talking about? Is it just a building that looks like any other building, or is it a very specifically designed facility?
Yeah, these are warehouses that are millions of square feet, spanning hundreds of acres, and they have you would go into it, and depending on where you were at, you might see the AI server racks. So these are boxes about the size of a commercial fridge with a bunch of AI chips in them, and they're all wired up with continuous water supply, so water cooling. And then also they're connected to every other AI server in the entire building or in their area to create a fabric of AI. And this is how they can consume tons of data all in one moment. So yeah, you're essentially looking at this giant warehouse filled with fridge-like units. You're also on these data center sites. How are you going to power the things? Well, this is not something we got to talk about, but many of the AI data centers are building their own power. So we're talking about nuclear plants. We're talking about natural gas plants. So it's not just the electricity power, they're also going to be using up the natural gas plant. And in Louisiana, Richland Parish, you have Meta's new data center, which is going to be the size of Manhattan Island in New York City. And they are building 4 new massive natural gas plants to generate enough power for that area. So you're looking at massive pollution. You're looking at the health hazards involved with running gas turbines, which is kind of the short-term way they power these things. Air pollution, the sound pollution. It's horrifying to live next to one of these things. There's many horror stories you can read, but essentially people are being kept up day and night. Here we go. That's a good picture of one. On the back, those look like the gas turbines. So that's how these things are powered. There's temporarily. And yeah, living next to one of these things is a nightmare. It's like a loud vacuum cleaner is running 24/7. It'll drive you crazy. It'll drive your pets crazy. It'll scare away all the animals in the area. It's very anti-life, these data centers. And I would like to say we just finished a day of action here in the United States where we had events around the country raising awareness on data centers. And some people like to joke around about, well, yeah, let's go sabotage it. And I just want to say, like, don't do that. This is nonviolent awareness that I'm looking to generate about these things. Like, you don't want to do that. If you are on the side of truth, we need you not behind bars, right? It's not going to work. I would say that the only way to push back is to vote with your wallet and to not support the companies that are building these things. And then 2, yeah, vote with your feet. Move away from these areas, which is a lot easier said than done. But don't support their build outs. And it could be in a few years, maybe 2030, 2032, no one is using AI, and they'll have to scrap these entire projects. I mean, I think that's the best possible outcome for us.
Here's what Simon Dixon said. The financial plumbing is a covert CBDC, central bank digital currency, controlled by JP Morgan. The data infrastructure for a global social credit score is built and managed by Palantir and Elon Musk. The entire system is managed as a single global portfolio by BlackRock's AI.
Right. Yeah, more and more of our world and the mechanisms are supposedly being run by AI. And it's not it's like I feel like these data centers are really a way to signify the areas that are not real life. This is not reality. This is a fake world. And maybe we could end with this is I think a lot of people are being drawn into this fake world. And they appear to be using AI to build out their dreams. And I'm not trying to discourage anyone of that. But when you delegate all your human creativity, your ability to write, your ability to draw, if you're not constantly working on these things and you just give it away to AI to do it for you, then that's one of the biggest dangers is you've lost your ability to think and reason and remember and research. These are all really important things. So on the end of it, that could be another reason why AI is so popular and being made so free. They're trying to take human ingenuity.
So based on what we've been talking about, let me just get this right. The CIA built the cloud. Palantir knows your politics. BlackRock is going to take your money. And the World Economic Forum writes the script.
It surely seems that way.
I mean, what is it that we actually then want?
So, yeah, I think if we stopped building AI data centers now, I think we'd be okay. I don't think the demand, I mean, there's a lot of people using it.
And localizing it.
Localizing it, which is something that China's already done. I mean, in China, there's more people using AI than people using internet in the United States. So it can be done. It is being done. And we don't need these massive data centers. We could stop building them this very day. So what I would call for is people getting involved in their local politics. And I'm not a political person, but I think that this issue is so important. You need to let your local officials know that you're going to hold them accountable. If they give away your natural resources and destroy your environment, you have to let them know they're on the hook for that. And you can do a pause. You can do a moratorium on county level data centers. Recently, states are now starting to do that too. New York passed a moratorium on data centers. This is like a 1-year pause. Texas has called for auditing any new data centers because it was overloading their power grid. So this is working. Like this fight, this battle is going on in real time, and you can make a difference. You could kick out one of these data centers from your area, but you have to be really tuned in to what's happening at the local level because they're not going to give you an announcement. They're not going to say, "Oh, Microsoft's building this giant data center here." No, they're going to be very secretive about it. They're going to use shell companies. They're going to hide its existence. So you have to become involved in your local community and your local politics, as crappy as that is. That's what you have to do.
Well, just to add to the localization comment, I mean, you so kindly sent me one of your beautiful privacy-orientated laptops that runs Linux, your own variation of it, and a local AI model.
That's right. Yeah, man. I'm really glad you're getting some use out of it, and you getting having it called beautiful with someone of your knowledge of aesthetics is such a great compliment. So thank you. And yeah, this is everything that we're seeing out there. This is your opportunity to invert it and bring it closer to home and bring the power closer to our laptops. So we have a line of laptops called the Quantum series, as Jerm has been using, that you can use. So if you go to abovephone.com/GRRM, you'll see these laptops and they're built in with a local GPU. So if you would like to use local AI without any dependence to the cloud, you can check this out. So
But hang on,
here we
what
go.
if it needs to be updated though?
Yeah, so that's the most beautiful part about our computers is that this is completely open source. These are open source developers that are helping build the foundational software. And so you can update at any time these laptops. You get continuous rolling updates, but they're not forced on you like Windows. You can update if you want. But the thing is when you update, things don't get broken. There's no random like AI features that show up. There's no crappy features that show up. Your software literally gets better every time you update. So we have thousands of people using our quantum series of notebooks, and this is a really special product for us because it's our first, I would say, like performance level computer with the local AI capability. And we have made Linux extremely easy to use. So I'm sure you've talked about Linux in the past. There's no easier way to use it than our computers because there's no terminal required. It's just point and click.
You say Linux, I say Linux. I'm going to argue that I'm right. I'll tell you why, because of the man behind it.
Yeah. Linus Torvalds, right?
Yes.
Linux.
Yeah, you don't say Linus.
I think Linus. I'm going to start calling him Linus now. I think it's because you have a much nicer sounding accent. It sounds cool when you say it. Linux. That's what you sound like. It sounds very nice.
My accent is obviously a hybrid of the British and the Dutch and the Germans and whoever else. I can't hear my own accent. By the way, can you hear your accent?
I don't know. Whatever this is.
It's weird, hey?
Whatever this accent is. Yeah. Somewhere in the middle. I get comments that it's from California or something, which I'm not.
Oh, you do sound Californian now that you mention it. I don't know the geography of the US that well, so I could be completely wrong, but you do kind of have that Californian twang.
Well, thanks, man. It's good to be. I mean, this is all about coming together. So, like, I moved here when I was really young, and Americans, I love them. They're very hospitable. This is my home. And although originally I'm from another country, my obligation is to the American people and making a better life for us. So it's everywhere you go, like the people are the same. We want to work with each other. Unfortunately, we're dealing with some psychopaths at the top.
This is a very good point. So I dunk on the US quite a lot on my show, but I think it's important sometimes just to clarify that I'm not dunking on normal Americans. I'm dunking on the elites, the oligarchs, and the government. And I do the same with my own country. I have no time for, our state infrastructure.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's about being skeptical and in your own decisions. And, I think there's a place to make fun of Americans who are still bought into the hook, line, and sinker that politics at the highest levels is going to save them. Like, oh, okay, we got betrayed by Trump. Let's on to the next political party. Maybe Marjorie Taylor Greene and Tucker Carlson will save us now. It's like, no. You're not going to vote your way into freedom. Freedom is a lived action.
That's a good point. Yeah. You can't vote harder.
Vote, yeah. You're not going to vote your way out of this one.
No.
And so, with this, going back to this conversation, what I see coming up, and this is a very serious thing, and I'm not trying to take this in a dark direction, but it might be a struggle to deal with power. Like, your power bills could be so incredibly high, they could be unaffordable. So what I would encourage people right now is to start preparing for that and get into power sovereignty, which, Jerm, you're in South Africa. Like, I know half of Africa is actually running their own power grid.
Yeah, we're ahead of you.
Probably. Way ahead of us. Like, Americans don't know this is coming. I think Europeans too should get on this stunt trip. The second thing is the water. And going back earlier to our conversation about you will know nothing and you'll be happy, that sounds like you're going to go to a 15-minute city. But here's the thing. No one's going to force you to move into the 15-minute city. You might only decide to do so when you're not getting power and water wherever you're living. You're like, let me just go down to the 15-minute city where the grass is green and the girls are pretty.
Oh, I saw that coming. Well, as you said it, I thought, no, he's not going to go there.
I did. Dude, yeah, that's such a good line. I won't say, this is going to break down next year, but, our energy, our oil is already breaking down. We're seeing that happen in real time. And this is not that far away. Maybe a year, maybe 2 years, maybe less. So that's the message I want to leave people with, is to get activated in their local community, use private technology and not contribute back to AI. And yeah, like, I'm sure Jerm could do an episode. I would love that if you did maybe a paid episode on how your house is off grid. That'd be so cool. I think people will get creative because, the economy, we're all struggling. There's no question about that. We're all feeling it right now. And I think that people will start to get more creative about what they do. Maybe it's a few different households getting together and co-locating or putting their money together to buy infrastructure. We really need to think differently, if we're gonna thrive through this.
Okay, Hakeem, how can I follow your work?
Yeah, if you're interested in the data center map we looked at today, go to AIDatacenterMap.org. There is a 250-page report. It's the longest piece of content that I've ever written. It's like the size of a short book. I did not use AI to write it. There's an AI transparency section in the report, so check it out. It tells you everything you need to know about AI data centers, from the tax write-offs they're getting to their legal process for getting involved and what happens to the environment. You can download that for free at AIDatacenterMap.org. You can also see the map on the same page. Then, if you're interested in getting a privacy product, you can go to abovephone.com/JERM. Sign up to our email list there. We'll have some promotions. I think we also have a discount code. Is that right? We'll just create one. Use coupon code GERM25 for $25 off any device. You'll be supporting us. You'll be supporting open source technology. And yeah, it's a win-win.
So Hakeem, you said earlier that you didn't use AI to help write your document, but so what if you did? Because as we discussed earlier, you wouldn't really be affecting those huge data centers.
For me, this is something I've thought a lot about.
Sorry, and you've got local AI, by the way, on your machine.
I think for me, what it is that I need to have a connection with my work. And to be fair, I'm not a purist. It's not like I don't use AI for some things. Like, if I forgot a document, if I found this really good resource and I can't find it anymore, I might use AI to search it and get me the link. But my workflow with it is very, very deliberate. I use it to find primary sources. I read everything with my own eyes, and I write it with my own words. And that's why if you read the thing, you're gonna tell that it's written by a human. It's not. I'm still improving my writing, but I find that I have a connection with the topic and with the work, and that's why I can come on and talk about it like this. So I think that we're heading into an age where people are using AI and they're just like, oh yeah, build me this thing, and it does it. But that's not your thoughts. That's not your words. It's hardly your idea. That's AI. So for me, it's just, I want to be in reality with everything that I build.
Yeah, just to be clear, even though I do use AI for spelling and grammar and image generation, I also do a lot of hand-drawn stuff and handwritten stuff. I showed you before we were recording that I draw on paper with ink and watercolor. So there is that.
Oh, I have you're such a talented artist, bro, and writer for that matter. I would say that I think the trend, which is, I'm preparing to do this with my content, but I'm just gonna make an AI transparency policy somewhere on it, just so it's really, really clear. Because it's okay to use AI, but I think that there's some creators right now that are just doing everything with AI, and they're like, this is my thoughts. And I think it's a disingenuous. So it's hard to know. It's hard to know you're dealing with a human. So I love hanging out with you. I'm so honored that I get to keep coming back and chatting with you about this. These are really important topics. We got to hang on to our humanity.
Hakeem Anwar, thank you for joining me in the trenches.
Blessings, Jerm. Thank you.
If you're enjoying this program, you can help us bring more news, articles, comment, and interviews to more people. It's your support that makes our coverage possible. Our goal for 2026 is for 10,000 new members. Join a worldwide community of UK Column supporters on our website or alternatively on Substack or YouTube.